It's tourney time. And with FanDuel's Dog of the Day, you could get a daily profit boost during the College Conference Championships to bet on any underdog. So get ready to celebrate some upsets.
No one saw that coming, except for me, baby.
21 plus in present in select states. Opt-in required. Minimum plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The Portland Trailblazers remain alive in the play-in hunt, sort of, with a win Tuesday night over the Atlanta Hawks. But more importantly, Craig's guy, Deni Avdija, went off yet again. He tried to fill the entire rundown with Deni topics. It was ridiculous. But we will definitely talk about Deni rising with Anthony Simons out. I did not think this team would win, but they did. We're also going to talk about Shaedon Sharpe stepping up. And this team showing some heart, man, because they are pretty much out of it. Also, Toumani Camara up for Defensive Player of the Year. I received a little case with a combination lock that, of course, was his jersey number. And you open it up, and inside was mix for Belgian waffles, since he's from Belgium, and maple syrup. This is what they're sending out to NBA voters for season
because he's Canadian
awards coming up. Huh? What?
Because he's Canadian. That's why there was maple syrup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that too. I don't know. Is he? No, he can't be both, can he? Can you be Canadian? Anyway.
He could have, but he's not.
He's not. You threw me off because Shaedon's from Canada. So I was like, wait, did I say Shaedon? Okay. Anyway, it's, come on. I received one of those because I do have a vote this year. So I'm going to vote, for Michael Jordan for MVP just to give him more ammo over LeBron in the GOAT chase. Oh, no, that thing's really over. It's all Michael at this point. But anyway, all right, Craig, this is our first time doing a pod after a game. I'm still a little amped up on my deadline, wire, like trying to get stuff done real quickly for our print product. But anyway, man, you know what? Look, let's give the Blazers credit. I did not think they had a chance in hell of winning tonight. They are down 3 starters with Anthony Simons out with a forearm injury along with Grant. And Ayton, you're out. Your backup point guard is Scoot, who's up and down. We all know that. But still, he provides something. And, of course, Robert Williams has been out. You go into Atlanta. Atlanta's battling for 7th place in the East, which is a big deal. You don't want to fall to 8th or 9th or 10th because that means they have to play more games. And the Blazers showed up. And they balled out.
Yeah, they did.
And they won this game. They played well defensively. Atlanta didn't shoot it well, of course, but you got to give the Blazers some credit for that. They turned it over a lot in the first half, but corrected that in the second half. They dominated the offensive glass. They had 19 offensive rebounds, which led to 30-something second chance points. They didn't shut down Atlanta, but Atlanta averaged 123 points per game in March. On the season, they're 5th in the league at 117, and they pretty much held them in check for the most part on this night. And Deni, triple-double, 32, 15, and 10. Sharpe had 33 points. Camara played well. I give these guys a ton of credit. And I give Coach Billups a ton of credit for keeping these guys motivated. What say you?
Yeah, I say no one shot well, and they won by 14. It's not like the Blazers shot well. I mean, they were 45%, 46 compared to, 44.6. The key was that they shot 31.7% from 3, like 13 for 41, which is not good.
No,
but the Hawks are 7 for 32, which is really bad. Look, obviously I love Deni. He played great. He almost had a quadruple double because he had 7 turnovers.
I wasn't going to bring that up. But I'm glad you did
because it was coming. Hey, Turbo has 1 speed, and often the propeller comes off every once in a while. But yeah, they had lost 4 in a row. They're in Atlanta. They're on a road trip. No one's playing anymore. Half the team's hurt, and they played great. They played better than the Hawks. Let's just say that. It was kind of an ugly game, but Deni and Shaedon played really well. I mean, Deni shot 11 for 21. Sharpe shot 11 for 25. I mean, still Sharpe. I would love to see him actually shoot well to get his 33 points, shoot over 50%. and maybe over 30% from three. He was 3 for 10. He went to the line 10 times, though. I mean, so that's how you get to 33 points.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they had no business winning this game. And there was a time then when in the fourth quarter when the Hawks pulled within 4, maybe even 2, you're like, okay, it's over. They're going to just, barrel forward. They were doing what, not that the Hawks are good, but better teams can do at home, just kind of hang in there and then win. But no,
right.
Great defensive sequence with Matisse who, watching Matisse, you're like, gosh, he would be so helpful on a playoff team right now. I mean, if he was he's him and Toumani.
He's a menace.
Oh God, he's like literally, he's like go gadget. Like the arm just goes, like he can't reach that. Oh, go gadget, there it is, and he gets a block, gets a steal, gets his hands out there. Toumani just takes every offensive foul. Toumani played great. He got in foul trouble.
You call him Toumani?
I put them together.
Toumani and Camara.
It's late for me. Camara played great. I mean, he shot 8 for 10, 2 for 3 from 3, 18 points. Did his usual stuff on the defensive end. He just got in foul trouble. But, I mean, good for them to win this useless game. It doesn't do anything for them.
It's not useless. Come on. Keep hope alive. Okay, they won 127-13. I don't think I mentioned the score. But they are now 3.5 games back of the Kings with 7. Okay, yeah, they're out of it. But keep this. But no. Keep this. They're in a stretch. Where they should keep winning, right? They got Toronto. Well, okay, I take that back. They got Toronto. They should maybe win that. The Bulls are going to smoke them because my Bulls are on fire.
They are on fire.
They had Josh Giddey and Kobe White. Woo! So, but anyway, the Kings, though, they have at Washington and Charlotte. So that's the problem. So even if you split, the Kings are definitely going to split these next two, if not win them both, right? And so then anyway. So they're out. They're not mathematically out, but they're out. But I just want them to keep battling. Shaden Sharp said after the game tonight, Toumani said we're just going to take it one game at a time and see how things go. I mean, just looking at their schedule that, the Kings face and the fact that Dallas has rebounded with the return of Anthony Davis, which that's really killing them. But yeah, it's over. But I'm just keeping hope alive until it's over, just to get me through the season. But I think, what I like the most about tonight, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but just that Chauncey has these guys still playing hard and playing with fight. Like, they have something to play for. Now, they have struggled against good teams, which we kind of expected, right? They did pull off a couple wins when Jokic was out, when Morant was out, right? I mean,
they're not good. That's why they struggle with good teams. This is you don't have to be a genius.
But they play hard and they bring it. And very, very rarely, I feel like in the last month and a half, have they lost a game because they didn't play well enough or necessarily the right way. It's just that the other teams were better. And Chauncey has said that a couple of times. And I see sometimes in comments online, people like, the other team doesn't necessarily have more talent. We have all the talent we need. No, you don't.
Well, that's not true.
Sacramento, for example, DeRozan, Levine, Sabonis, Keegan Murray, all start for the Blazers. All 4 of them start.
Of course.
Except maybe Keegan doesn't, and Toumani and Deni do. But Keegan's in that rotation, obviously. So at least 3 of the 4 start. That's a more talented team. Most of the teams they play are more talented. This team needs an infusion of high-end, marquee, all-star level guys. Could Deni be that guy? I'm not buying it yet because I believe that if you added 2 dudes to this team and you were good, Denny's numbers fall way back. Because I don't think he's a guy who's going to be triple-double every once in a while, 20, 10, and 8 on a really good team. I just don't buy that yet. I could be wrong. I mean, people are buying his rookie cards left and right. I have a few myself. People made me offers on him, and I didn't take it because I do believe he does have some value still left in him.
Hey, and that's a big difference. Let me just say this. Yeah. In the beginning of the season, you weren't even sure if he was a solid starter.
Oh, yeah.
So you've come a long way on my guy. On the other hand,
you knew from day one, right?
I had hope.
You had hope.
But
he's killing it.
I think realistically, you don't want him to be your best player. You just don't.
Right, exactly. But you want his attitude. You want his tenacity. You want his aggressiveness. You want the fact that he'll go in there and rebound. You want the fact, imagine if you had two studs on this team and Deni's getting the rebound and going turbo. And those other two guys are filling the lane and coming, one's set up for three and the other one's attacking the basket. Now you're looking at a team that could be really, really good. They just don't have those guys right now. Shaden, maybe in a couple of years, we'll see. But anyway, Deni is a legitimate. Okay, I went from, I don't know if Deni is a fourth or fifth guy on a good team to now believing he could be a legit third guy on a really, by good team, I mean 50-plus wins. I don't know if he's a number two on a 50-plus win team. I think definitely he could be a number three.
And he's still 20, he's still young. He's 24 years old, and he's made huge jumps in the last 2 years. So can he even get better? His shooting.
Oh, definitely.
Consistently lately, he's been off the charts. The last 10 games, he's shooting, 53% from the field and 49% from three. That is not sustainable, but that's over a 10-game period. And he has shown that he can shoot. And that changes the game in the NBA when you're 6'9" and 240 pounds. He can handle the ball for a 6'9" guy. He can rebound. He can guard.
Is he 240?
He's done his job. That I'd said this whole year. I've been saying, to me, that's Joe Cronin's best move so far, which isn't great. It's not great when you've had three top 10 picks, and we're sitting here saying that the Camara and getting Camara in the trade, a second rounder, and getting Deni by giving up first rounders is your best move. It just goes to show if you would have hit a home run with Scoot and Shaden, where this team would be, what we'd be thinking. And it's kind of weird that we're talking about Deni Avdija and Toumani Camara as the two pieces we know going forward they could be part of a 50-win team.
Right.
And then we're still not sure how the rest falls into place. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is the coach. I think Chauncey has proven that he's a coach. And anyone who's watched this team who thinks that he's the problem is, to me, just nuts. We've said it for so long that we don't know if he's a good coach. I think there's more evidence now from this season that he has the potential to be a really good coach in the NBA than we definitely knew last year or the year before when they were trying to lose, because they basically said, now, I think it was the wrong strategy to try to win. I think this season, to me, if you're an owner, if you were a real owner, this season would be not what I would have wanted. It doesn't make any sense to me what they did. Right. To me, it was short-sighted and silly to try to make a play-in and lose a chance at a guy in Cooper Flagg that would change your franchise forever, probably. And I say probably because to me, it's like Wemby. There are certain guys and you thought Scoot was going to do that and hasn't. And now I think it would be a shock if he did. So that's that. But they said go win, and Chauncey with scraps at times, like tonight with scraps. He didn't even have a point guard. He did not have a point guard tonight at all. Nowhere. Delano Banton is not a point guard. And he somehow beat the Hawks with, one of the most dynamic point guards in the NBA in Trae Young. Who obviously is he had 15 assists, Trae Young. Everyone talks about, he's not a point guard, he's a scorer. He had 15 assists. He shot terribly, 7 for 20. But to me, if that doesn't tell you that the coaching staff had this team prepared to play a team that wanted to win at home, then you're just just a hater. You're just hating. You're just looking for reasons to blame anything but the front office and some of the players. To me, it's like I look at the situation, and I'm not saying it helps to get disappointed or maybe upset with players, but in other places, Shaden Sharp in New York and Chicago and other markets, Shaden Sharp will be getting killed because he has been inconsistent. His defense was so bad that Chauncey sat him. And even when he plays well, there are moments where you're just like, oh gosh, like why did you shoot that? Even when it goes in. But here they blame the coach. When you read like the comments, they blame the coach. And so I say hats off to Chauncey Billups and the whole coaching staff, because their defensive end has been really, really improved. And I know Chauncey said he was going to be a defense-first coach, but you need assistants to do that. So I give a lot of credit to Chauncey, and I'm impressed.
You need players who can play defense. You need players who can play defense.
Yeah, and you know what? You're laughing, but that's a great point, Fentress. They have two. Now they have two outstanding defensive players, and Matisse and Camara, and then Deni's a very good defensive player, and they're winning because they don't stop playing defense, no matter what. And I think that's the coaching staff saying, hey, you know what? And to Klingen's credit, they know where to put him. They're like, put the mountain in the right place. He almost never gets embarrassed lately. And that guy can't move. I can't, because it looks like they can't run. But I mean, can you be slower? Can you look slower? I'll record sometimes. He is not in the right shape. He can't move fast enough, yet he is not embarrassed. On a nightly basis, he is put in positions where he was plus 29 tonight. He had 7 rebounds. He didn't block a shot, which is odd because he usually does. I mean, if you don't look at Donovan Clingan and say, wow, the coaching staff has put him in places to succeed, then you're blind. Because a guy like that, who's only 21 years old, or 20, and clearly is not ready to start an NBA game, has played for almost a month now as a starter. And it's been 1 or 2 times where you're like, oh God, that was awful. Like he couldn't stay on the court. To me, you have to do a hat tip to the coaching staff for that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And we'll see what happens this offseason. Well, shoot. Yeah, pretty quickly, man. 2 weeks out. Actually, we'll probably know what's up. All right, let's shift to, okay, we talked about Shaden in there. Let's talk to Toumani. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's awards season. The Blazers have started a campaign promoting Toumani Camara as Defensive Player of the Year. I don't believe he has a chance in hell of getting that, but that's not the point at all. I did an article on them doing the campaign and sending out these cases, as I said, which have a combination lock, and then you open it up, and there's the stuff to make waffles. And Nick Daschler, Oregon State reporter, who's actually now the interim sports editor, because we're looking for a new one because Joel Odom is moving on to a different job with us, pointed out to me, he said, the last time a Blazers player made an all-defensive team was 2004, Theo Ratliff.
I couldn't believe that.
And
Theo Ratliff, right?
Ratliff. And the last time a Blazers player made first team was Buck Williams 34 years ago. So I went and looked, and I looked everything up, right, and I made a list here. So the Blazers have never had a Defensive Player of the Year, and they won't have one after this year. But, dude, they've only had 7 different players? 8 players ever be on the all-defensive team, first or second team. 8. Since 1970-71, bro. 8. And those 8 did it 14 times.
Defense has apparently not been the thing.
No. Of those 8, the ones who have been first team was Bill Walton, who was first team the year they won the championship, and the year that he got hurt when they had the best record in the league. That same year, Maurice Lucas and Lionel Hollins were first team. So that's 3 players who have done it. And then Buck did it twice, in 89-90 and 90-91. They went to the finals in 90. They lost to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals in 91. He was second team in 92, the year they lost to the Bulls. Kermit Washington got second team twice in 80 and 81. And then Pippen, I didn't remember this. Pippen was second team in 1999-2000. So only Buck Williams, Bill Walton, Lucas, and Hollins have been first team. 4. That's since 1971. That's 54 years.
Well done. Used all his fingers and his toes.
That's 54 years, dude. I can't even believe that.
Oh my God.
Anyway, but so let me ask you this. So he's not going to be defensive player of the year, but do you think he's going to be on a team? That's 10.
So
10
they do
players.
first, second.
They don't do third, I don't think.
They don't do third anymore. Whew. He should be on the second team. Will he get there? I don't know. There's players on winning teams and better teams, but he deserves to be on the second team. I think he's been that good. He's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Mobley or Green are going to get there. I mean, we saw Daniels tonight. Like, that guy's a steal machine. But like, often, like, you get guys like Jimmy Butler going to get on the team. You know what I mean? Like, they put players that are often two-way players, get a little edge on that than just the – right now he's more of a one-way player, even though he's shooting so much better. He's a legit 3-and-D, which is, all – when we came into the year, it was like, can he play well enough on offense to be out there for 30 minutes, a game on a good team? The answer to that question right now is yes, he can. And the thing about him is he figured it out. We talked about it last time. The numbers on him, he shoots a 3 or he dunks. Like, that's it. He's not trying to act like he knows what he's doing in the mid-range game. He's like, if you give me a layup, I'll take it. If not, I'm going to the corner, I'm going to the line, and I'm going to shoot a 3 because my job is on defense. But I do think that the fact that he leads the league in charges and is close on offensive, drawing offensive fouls, that's a number people have seen. I think you got to give credit to the Blazers and their PR staff and their comms people, because they have made sure that they have asked the stars and the coaches every game when they come in the pre-interview, they've asked people about Camara to get that quote and to make sure that people know, if they pay attention, that players and coaches in the NBA know who he is and have respect for his game. So I think that's the reason why. And look, they weren't getting anything else, right? You weren't going to get – you missed on Rookie of the Year with 2 – now with 3 top 10 players, 3 top 10 draft picks. You're not getting any All-Stars. You're not getting anybody close to All-NBA team. Good for you. You've got a guy that is outstanding and is at least competitive to be one of the best in the league. Showcase the crap out of it, and they've done it, and he deserves it. I hope he gets on second team. He's not going to get on the first team, right? I mean,
I don't know, man. So
you think he's got a chance?
I don't know. Who knows how people feel about these types of things. So he basically made himself a legit candidate by being Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month in February. And the stats the Blazers put out on their webpage for him, promoting him, through March 27th, he was first in charges drawn, first in offensive fouls drawn, third in defensive stops, and tied for fourth in steals. That's a lot of stuff.
Good.
That's a lot of stuff. Like, to me, it feels like that should be enough to get you onto a team. Now, the prime candidates for Defensive Player of the Year, who all obviously would be in the running for
Draymond Green,
first or second team. You got Draymond Green. You got
Evan Mobley,
Bam, Dyson Daniels, Lou Dort, Rudy Gobert's on this list. Draymond, just said Jaren Jackson Jr., who I think went last year, right? Evan Mobley, you mentioned. Amin Thompson. Amin Thompson's going to be on the team.
Yes.
Jalen Williams for Oklahoma City. Zubac is on here. So there's a lot of good players out there. But I just feel like when you've built this type of reputation as he has as a perimeter defender, and the way players have talked about him, like Damian's talked about how, he's one of the best he's ever seen in terms of harassing him and having to deal with him. Dave's been playing for how many years? 13, 14. That means a lot. So I kind of believe he's going to squeeze onto the second team. We'll see. But
I mean, the thing is, like, Wemby didn't play enough to make it, right? I mean, he's gone, and he was a guarantee. Anthony Davis is off and on the team. He didn't play enough to get on there. Herb Jones, who was there last year, I don't think, nobody on the Pelicans deserves to be on anything. So you can't go that way. But there's only 5 guys on the all-defensive first team. So I think it's really hard.
Yeah, not first, but I just want to see him at least get second. Like, if he can squeeze on the second,
he deserves it. I mean, right. I agree.
If he doesn't this year, I think it's definitely going to be in his future. Because he's still, he's still young. It's the second season, and he's got a long way to go in terms of reaching his potential. If they were better, it'd be different too. Yeah, I mean, you can make that case.
There's no when you look.
I wonder if that matters as much for defense.
But last year, I'm just saying, when you look at it, Wemby made it on a bad team. Right. Pelicans, Herb Jones made it. They were not atrocious. Gobert on the Timberwolves, good. Anthony Davis, Lakers, good. Bam on the Heat, good.
They were solid. Yeah.
Yeah, solid team. Second team, Alex Caruso on the Bulls, not good, but Holiday for the Celtics, good. Jaden McDaniels, Timberwolves, good. Jalen Suggs and the Magic, not good, but decent.
But they were in the playoffs, though. They were in the playoffs.
And Derek White of the Celtics. So they honor some. That's what I mean. Like, you don't think, like, when we're talking here, we're not talking about Derek White. We're not, talking about guys like that, but they'll sneak on there because they're on. Somebody on the Celtics is probably going to be on there. So it's just the way it works. But he deserves to be on the second team. And I think if he does, the Blazers comms team and they should share in the victory, because I think they've just done an excellent job to make sure. I mean, even sending this, that thing out. I mean, how many other teams are trying to get their guy on the all defensive team like that? It just doesn't happen very often. I mean, I will say in a dozen years covering the Blazers, they did some all-star pushes, but they never did a defensive player of the year push. And so I say you got to give them credit. Well done.
Absolutely. All right, so what's your hope for the remainder of the season? We got at Toronto, at the Bulls, home San Antonio, at Utah, then home Warriors, Lakers. 7 games. Oh, wait. Oh, my God, it's only 6. Whoa. 6 games remaining. Oh, yeah, Blazers are done.
Thanks.
I'm really doing the math now. I thought there were 7 for some reason. Anywho, so what do you want to see?
I'm disappointed that
close strongly.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that Scoot, is in concussion protocol. Really wanted to see him push and play. Honestly, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, it feels like if they once they're eliminated, I don't know what they do. Do they keep playing Deni 38 minutes? I wouldn't. At some point in time, you gotta sit some guys and make sure they're okay. It's not going to help you. I mean, so I don't know. I don't think any of it matters at this point. I think that we saw what we saw from the season. I think getting Klingon minutes, just to keep him, because he's got to still get in shape, is fine. But yeah, I would think at some point in time we're going to see some guys that haven't played at all year play some more. I mean, it's Banton time. He got to start tonight. I mean, remember last year we were like, wow, this guy might make the team. And, it's time for him to pick up. I don't want to see, Deni and Toumani playing 38 minutes at this point. I'm like,
man, they're young. See, this is the problem with today's league and the mentality. They're young. They're fine. They're going to take 3 weeks off when the season's over and then go hit the gym for 2 or 3 hours a day. They can handle playing extra minutes in an NBA game. It doesn't matter. Why do we baby these guys?
I worry about stepping on an ankle. I mean, I just worry about
summer.
that.
They'll have 6 months. They'll have April, May, June, July, August. They'll have 6 months to get themselves ready.
I don't want to say anything else that can happen in a game because I don't want to blame it. But
playing summer pickup,
they could, and I don't disagree with that. But I don't want to do it on my watch. Is what I'm saying. If I'm Chauncey,
what have you heard? Have you heard
what? That's my next thing. Like, when do you think we'll know about Chauncey?
I don't know.
I mean, I think those questions have to start now. I mean, like, you can't, it's almost over and they got to make a decision.
Yeah, well, the Blazers could pick up his option, and the Blazers are kind of in control. Now, if they do that, then I believe 100% that they run the risk of like, okay, well, Chauncey's going to go out and coach his ass off next season and he's not coming back. I think he would take that as a slap in the face if they just pick up his option. I think.
I mean, to me, it's crazy. I mean, like, I think what they did this year was crazy.
Right. So yeah, we both agree that what they did this year made no sense.
I mean, if you just pick up the option and that's all you do, then your ownership's not even trying to do the right. You know, they're not even trying to think about the future. I mean,
right. So that's why. Right. So if you're not going to bring him back, then you're going to do it pretty quickly, I would imagine, and then start the coaching search. Now, the other question is, you know, could it be a situation where Chauncey is like, well, I want to come back, but I expect a raise regardless of my record because the record's not my fault. And I mean, dude, Memphis just fired its coach.
Oh, that's crazy. It's insane.
Well, apparently they have one win against a winning team.
I know, but still, I wouldn't be shocked. 9 games before the playoffs, and you're in the playoffs. Like, I get that you're not happy, but what are you doing? Like, I am so excited to see them in the playoffs because you have an interim coach going into the playoffs. Like, to me, that's always the worst thing because if they win, you just got to hire them. Like, it's often the worst thing you could do. So, but it's
Boston fired Udoka, and then Missoula took them to the title the next season, and they won it. I mean,
right, but the difference there is
you had a whole season and a whole offseason. I get it, but my point is
right, and you had an amazing team, and you only did it because you had to, because there was a scandal. You didn't do it because you wanted to. You did it because the dude lied to you, and you felt like, dude, you can't do that. And you cheated on one of the most beautiful women in the – that's a whole different – I don't want to get into that. But they had to fire him. They didn't choose to fire him.
He lost Tia Long.
I mean, Nia Long. And that's insane. That's insane. But that's a whole different thing for guys in our age.
No, we should do a whole segment on that right now.
I'm just saying that's a different podcast. But they didn't want to fire him.
Does it really need to be? Does it need to be different?
I'm just saying we've all watched, we grew up watching the same movies and
Friday,
what an idiot.
Best Man, Boys in the Hood, Love Jones.
Love Jones, by the way, one of the most underrated movies in the world. I love Love Jones. And in that movie, if you didn't have a crush on her, then okay. But that's a whole different thing. But that was insane. Here's my thought, though, when it comes to Chauncey. If I'm Chauncey and his agent, if you're just picking up the option, let's talk about a separation. Let's just talk about now.
Yeah. I don't think that's.
I'm not doing that. Like, I can't even think that's an option. I don't even think
the Blazers will silly.
It's let him go or extend. If you just pick up the option and you put Chauncey in that position, I mean, that is doing the guy wrong. Like, he needs to, and I don't know where he is. I think he's been so diplomatic in this situation to not know where ownership is going. And also, like, if the Celtics really do, if the Celtics are selling for that kind of money, then what is the trust waiting for as far as selling the Blazers? I mean, other than they don't want to do it.
So the Blazers get $3.5 billion, maybe?
I just say, like, the argument's always been silly to me that you could hear it and, well, they're not going to sell it because they want to get the most they can get. Like, that's forever, right? Like, that's the thing you say forever. Like, NBA franchises aren't going to go down, so you're always going to be able to get more if you wait. And if the Celtics now sell for a record-breaking amount, that seems like a good time, especially with an unknown future in our economy. You would sell if you're, quote unquote, doing it with the best timing. But that whole argument that the trust shouldn't sell until it's the most they could get, like, that'll never end. They're not, unless something crazy happens, you're never going to get less money if you wait. So no one understands the situation. And I think it's amazing. I'm very interested in it because I've never seen anything like this, to have an NFL football team and an NBA basketball team owned by a trust, run by a person that never speaks to the media. Like, and I love where we live. I love the Pacific Northwest. Try that in Chicago. Try that in New York. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if the New York Giants and the New York Yankees, well, we won't go to the Yankees, but the Knicks and the Giants were in a trust and the owner never spoke ever? Like, about it? It's weird. I mean, the Knicks owner gets crushed all the time and no one wants him to speak. You know, like, I don't know. I'm curious to that and how that affects things, but obviously it affects situations. But if you're a coach like Chauncey, is that who you want to coach for? Especially now, if you think you've set a resume that says, I think people wanted me before. Maybe there's this period of time where people were like, maybe we were wrong about him. But now I feel like, I think that people are like, no, he can coach.
Well, that's why I brought up the Memphis job. That would be a perfect spot for him. He could go in there, maybe connect with John Morant, a young guard, which he used to be a young guard, and help him blossom. You got players already who can play defense. You got one of the best defensive players in the league, and Jaren Jackson Jr. He goes in there, that defense is going to be high end. The offense has already got firepower. Boom. You're 50-win guy, just like that. And then everyone who hated on him is going to have to realize that talent matters. I mean, talent matters more than anything in the NBA. Period.
Absolutely.
The coaching thing doesn't matter until Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It might matter. Maybe Game 1. Who knows? But anyway. All right. Wow, we got off on a little tangent there. All right. So next week, we'll be back soon to talk about Nia Long, another fantastic leading ladies that
you haven't seen Love Jones. Watch Love Jones.
Athletes and coaches blew it with, which also includes Halle Berry. But anyway, last thing I'll say, I just want to see this team close the way they did tonight. Just play. If you lose some more games, which you will, just keep playing hard, because that's going to carry over to next season, I believe. Just having that attitude that you're going to play hard every night. That's all this thing really matters. That's all it really matters right now at this point, because they're not going to get the play in. So I was impressed with tonight, and I hope to see that they continue to play that way the rest of the season. And we'll be back next week for another episode of the Blazer Focus podcast, which will be our last one before the end of the season. And then we'll come back after exit interviews. Take care.